Hi everyone! In this video, I want to share a framework for building comparison pages, aka versus pages. These are the pages a company makes that compare their product and their competitors. Now, many top brands use these types of landing pages because they can help tip the balance towards your product right at the most critical stage before a customer buys. So before we go into examples, I want to talk about two mistakes you can make regarding these comparison pages. The first mistake is thinking you need to compare all the features side by side. In marketing, it's always about making a conscious decision what to show our audience, because they have about 5 milliseconds before they lose interest. Like this comparison ad, for example, where Wendy's focus on the fact that McDonald's use frozen meats and they do not. The second mistake you can make with these pages is showing the wrong features. Every product has endless features and aspects to it. And making a mistake here would be like trying to sell a sports car by featuring its color and not its performance, or trying to sell hiking shoes by featuring its style and not its endurance. So, how do you choose what to feature and how to feature in your product? The answer is a marketing framework that is super useful. And if you haven't guessed it, it's positioning. It's no surprise because positioning is exactly the process of establishing your identity and the identity of your product in the customer's mind relative to competing products. Positioning is about making your product stand out and seem attractive so the customer buys. So I'm going to show you how different brands use different positioning strategies to make their product seem more appealing. So first is customer preference positioning, which is when there's a clear evidence base or certain signals that your target audience prefers your product over competitors. Let's look at Ahrefs page. And right on the top, you can see that they show surveys that indicate a clear preference to Ahrefs over competitors. So a question you can ask yourself, can you prove that customers prefer your product? Maybe through surveys, maybe through other means. If there's an indication, you can gather this evidence and use this positioning. Next is the benefit positioning. Now, you might say it's obviously what we're doing in comparison pages, showing benefits, but the idea here is that your product offers unique features or benefits that are not provided by competitors. So let's go to the Ahrefs page again, and if we scroll down, we can see that the majority of this page consists of 15 unique things that only Ahrefs can do. And they really go into details regarding each of these features. And an important nuance that we need to note is that an effective strategy is to show benefits that are also clearly connected to important business metrics. So for this, we have an example, which is the drift page. And if you look at this page, they focus and showcase a lot of metrics that relate to business metrics. So for example, ROI and impact on pipeline. And further along, they mention again and again the tangible impact on business metrics. So for this positioning method, you can ask yourself, does your product have these unique features that you can showcase? Next, let's talk about quality positioning, which this is when your product shares similar features, but is the clear winner when it comes to quality. In other words, it outperforms the competition. And an example of this is the VWO comparison page. VWO is an optimization platform, and in their comparison to Optimizely, they show how the G2 metrics indicate a clear winner here, which is always VWO. So a question you can ask yourself is, if your brands share similar features, can you differentiate your product in terms of quality? Would that be enough of a difference when someone buys your product? Next is competitor-based positioning. This is when there's a clear market leader who is your competitor. In this case, you would need to find all the vulnerabilities and disadvantage of that competitor and highlight how your product addresses these weaknesses. And an example is this comparison page of Butter, comparing them to the clear market leader, which is Zoom. And you can see that all through the page, they talk about one of the major or several of the major Zoom disadvantages, which is, for example, Zoom fatigue. Now, there's another competitor-based positioning strategy when you have many competitors. And this is what Podia executed in their page. And you can see they actually created dozens of pages comparing their product to various others. And if you go into one of these pages, you can see that they actually dive into each one and found what are the key differences that make Podia the better choice. It's obviously a lot of work, but if you are in a market with a lot of competitors, it makes sense. Next is emotional positioning, and you should use emotional positioning when there's an emotional appeal to your product, or when there's significant frustrations and challenges related to your competitor's product. A brand that does this well is Webflow. Now, they created also a competitor-based positioning page showcasing all of WordPress's vulnerabilities and challenges. But what they did along the page is also showcase something that has to do with emotion. And it's this line here, launch with peace of mind. Here they're addressing a certain emotional frustration that they know WordPress developers have, and they actually bank on it. And having that emotional impact is very strong in terms of positioning. So you can ask, do your customers feel some strong frustrations or challenges regarding your competitor? Next is price positioning, and this is used when price is a considerable factor in the buying decision. So maybe it's a pricey B2B product, or the target audience is cost sensitive. An example is this Close versus HubSpot page, where they mention cost right at the top of the page, and they also have a table that showcases a lot of the pricing advantages of Close over HubSpot. So you can ask yourself, does price play a significant role in the buying decision? And is our pricing strategy better than our competitor? Next, convenience positioning. When you focus on how your product is either easier to use or easier to set up. So in this HubSpot versus Salesforce page, both of them CRMs, if you scroll down, you see that HubSpot focuses here and on the rest of the page on 3 key capabilities, and all of them relate to convenience. So here it mentions cost and complexity. Here they mention the UI and experience, and also the support. All of them correlate to a certain convenience, ease of use of HubSpot. So you can ask yourself, is it significantly more convenient to set up or use your product? And is this an important factor? Next is user group positioning. This is when your product wins for a specific user group. So if we again visit the Drift page, we can see that in the 3 reasons to choose Drift over Intercom, they focus on how Intercom is for customer support and Drift is for marketing and sales. So they created a clear focus here to show that they're specifically better for a certain group. By the way, if we go to Close, for example, you see they also say and focus the fact that they're better for a sales team. And this is apparent throughout this page. So you can ask yourself, do you have a certain target audience, certain segment of your target audience that prefers your product? And you can find this out through surveys, interviews, and the likes. Lastly is feature positioning. This is when your product is more robust and has a broader stack of features that you can showcase. And the example here is the ClickUp page, where most of the page consists of basically a table showcasing the features that ClickUp has and the competitor doesn't have. We continue to scroll, we see that more features are shown. So here you can ask yourself, do you have the more robust alternative where if you show side by side, this is the most engaging way to convince your customer to buy your product? Again, the challenge here is, or the risk here is to bore your audience and get them to leave your site. So this was the framework that I wanted to present about how to think about comparison pages and really how to think about them strategically so you can build better and more convincing pages. I hope you like this. If so, please subscribe and also let me know what you thought of this video. Until next time, see you later.